gets Maction underway into DeKalb. Rudolph will run on that play, and we have our first penalty on the opening kick.
During return team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
A young team, but they have a sixth-year senior at quarterback in Ross Bowers from Bothell, Washington, not too far outside of Seattle. In fact, the two previous quarterbacks at Cal were Davis Webb and Jared Goff. Was a 3,000-yard passer at Cal in 2017, and the son of not one but two coaches. Mom Joanne, the head gymnastics coach at San Jose State. Dad, a longtime assistant football coach who was on the James Madison team that won an FCS championship a few years back. Aaron Collins, part of a brand new running game. This team only returned 43 yards of rushing from their running backs. Collins, a former NC State Wolfpack member, will be the feature back. He's a JUCO kid, though.
And that's fine. That actually gives them some age. It gives them some playing experience. And getting back to Ross Bowers here, I actually had a chance to see him at Cal. And he kind of just disappeared out of their plans. This is his fourth offensive coordinator he's had during his college tenure, and the first time he's ever played for the same coordinator in back-to-back years.
Eric Eidsness, the offensive coordinator. Handoff again to Collins, and he is stopped in his tracks. Third down. Defensively, Buffalo missing some key pieces. Taylor Riggins, second in the MAC in sacks last year, out. Ali Abbas also out.
Yeah, and listen, I think the front component might be a bigger deal than the back end, because this is a team that prides themselves in pass rush. They are disruptive. They get people behind the chains, and it protects that back end. When you're losing Riggins, now you're going to see what the drop-off is like when he leaves the field.
Into Daniel Crawford in motion. NIU likes to use its tight ends in the pass game, and that's incomplete for Cole Tucker, and the Huskies go 3 and out. Matt Ferentz will punt it away for Northern Illinois. Competed in track and field to the discus. Last year NIU 5-7, 4-4 in league play, and special teams and defense a big strength for the Huskies last season.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, listen, their coach played here. He was an assistant here. He understands the culture at Northern Illinois, and he's trying to get it back.
Ron Cook back deep for Buffalo. Fair catch is called for and made. It is Jarrett Patterson. And here's that Buffalo running game, that vaunted running game led by Patterson, who ran with adamantium in his bones down the stretch last year.
This is all Patterson. Watch this move right there. A tackle on first down. Instead, Jarrett Patterson area of space, and what makes him so unique. He's going to be the change of pace guy, and then you're going to get the battering ram with Marks. It's going to come in the substitution.
For NIU, 5 freshman starters on defense, 3 of those on the defensive line. And of the 5 freshman starters, 4 are true freshmen. Van Treese moving the pocket, has plenty of time, throws back the other way. He's got his tight end, Zach Lefebvre. They want to use him a little more in the pass game this year.
Yeah, they really like the tight end, and I like that first play call. You're going to move the play. Needs some time to develop, to hit the deep crossing on the over route for Lefebvre. And so far, a veteran offensive line versus a bunch of young puppies. No pun intended, Northern Illinois Huskies along that defensive front. Good start here for the Buffalo offense.
Now 2 plays, 50 yards. It's first and goal from the 5. And now you see both running backs. Patterson has an angle. What else? Touchdown, Jarrett Patterson. Here.
Gene Thomas, number 4, shoots through the gap. He's got a chance. And just that subtle quickness and the light stiff arm, and then you see him lower the shoulder and finish the play. Listen, Jaret Patterson's only 5'9", but he's almost 200 pounds. So he's got a little bit more of a physical nature than you might think.
In the last 6 games of 2019, Patterson ran for more than 1,100 yards. So yeah, in a 6-game season, a 1,000-yard season on the table. Extra points by McNulty is good. Buffalo with great start.
Going to take a gray shirt. Shows up, doesn't enroll as a full-time student, is willing to wait. What a great story.
Explain what gray shirt means.
Well, and I'll do it right after this kick. So you're able to bring kids in, and they're not full-time students. They don't count as an initial counter in that immediate class, and you can push them forward to the next class. But it means you've got to sit, you know, and you know that going in. So the way Lance Leipold put it, he goes, he had enough, he has pride, but he was smart enough to overlook it because he knew this was the best situation for him to be in.
Second to drive now for NIU, and Ross Bowers staying healthy. A season goal for Bowers, who suffered a couple of concussions last year. He'll come out throwing quickly to the sideline, and he's got Tyrese Ritchie, the senior from Chicago. Down to Taylor.
After that last series, O-line coach Daryl Ekpalsa gathered up the O-line and said, okay, now you know what the pass rush looks like. I want better efficiency on first down. He said, I want at least 4 yards on that first play. And so he's got to be happy right now, guys.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he wants it to be better. Better than that. That was unbelievable. That was a heck of a start.
On 2nd and 1, it's Aaron Collins, the JUCO transfer by way of NC State, pinballing off a few defenders, picks up a first down to the 40. That play tells you something about Northern Illinois. 2nd and 1, maybe a chance where you take a shot. They play it conservatively, get the first down.
Well, and I think it gives you confidence to an offensive line that's got 2 seniors. Everybody else is a freshman or sophomore. And every reserve in all 5 offensive linemen are freshmen. So you've got to lean on those guys early, give them some confidence to move the line of scrimmage.
Bowers to the sideline, and there is Cole Tucker. He's NIU's top receiver. DeKalb native. His dad was an All-American defensive back at Northern Illinois. Mom, Cindy, a gymnast in the NIU Hall of Fame.
So far, I like the early play selection for Ross Bowers. Confidence throws. Underneath stuff, pitch and catch. Get it out to your guys. Let them do the rest. Move the football. Now confidence in your offense really starts to rise.
Buffalo almost jumped. 2nd down and 3. Collins is met shy of midfield. It'll bring up 3rd down.
You hear that hard count clap, Anish, and that's another way of offsetting this pass rush. It's another way of slowing down Buffalo's front to help your young guys, you know, get Buffalo on their heels a little bit. They're not just going to be able to jump the snap. I expect to see more of that from Ross Bowers in this offense, because that's going to help settle things down.
Northern Illinois struggled on 3rd down last year. Saw the numbers there near the bottom nationally. High snap, Collins up the middle, and he picks up a first down. You can see the power with which he runs. And this is a Northern Illinois team that's coached by a former Northern Illinois running back. Thomas Hammock, 2-time 1,000-yard rusher with the Huskies. They want to be a big-time running football team. Use multiple tight ends. They want to be in some ways what Buffalo is offensively.
Well, absolutely they do. They want to be physical at the point of attack. They want to be able to run it when they want to. All right, not just when they have to. And that was a really nice job collapsing down the defensive front of Buffalo, kicking out. And the one thing about this running back is he hits the crease. He is downhill. Aaron Collins has been a nice addition to this offense.
They'll reset the play clock. Thomas Hammock told us a lot of his young players they feel are Power 5 players. Collins has Power 5 pedigree starting at NC State. And hello, Malcolm Koonce, the sack leader in the MAC last season with his first of 2020.
You're going to see him come off the edge. Left-hand side of your screen. He's going to be right here. He's in a stand-up position, and he's just going to work on big number 70, Marcus Cox, redshirt sophomore. And that's just a level of explosiveness and athleticism coming off the ball that the young sophomore is not ready for.
Taylor Riggins, who's out today, lines up normally on the opposite side of Koonce. He was second in the conference in sacks, and that's the strength of this Buffalo defense, the defensive line. Pressure coming from the linebacker, Terry. Koonce now over on the perimeter, making the tackle on the tight end, Crawford. We have reiterated the point Northern Illinois is young. They lost a lot of players to the transfer portal. Tight end Mitchell Brinkman was a key part of the passing game last year. Their running backs, Trey Harbison, transferred before even last season ended. He didn't even play in the regular season finale a year ago. Jordan Nettles opting out, losing another running back to graduation. So a lot of key components from the offense last year are gone. Rudolph, a freshman, in motion. Bowers steps up. Pursued. They'll tuck and run. Lost the football out of bounds. And let's see where they mark him out. It's going to bring up 4th down, and this might be a spot Thomas Hammock goes for it with 3 yards to go.
See where the spot is, where the ball comes out. I like this call right here. Again, a bit of a confidence builder. You have moved the football outside of the one play in the sack from Koonce. It's been an effective and efficient offensive series.
Ron Hudson, the head referee. NIU pointing toward Buffalo. Long discussion here.
Offside. Number 5. Defense. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Tim Terry.
The result of the play is another Huskies first down. First and 10 for the
This is really a strange call, Anish. A really strange call. I did not see any offsides. In fact, he's not even on the line of scrimmage.
Matt Austin is our rules official who's with us. Matt, what did you see?
Well, I hate to accuse anybody of anything, but that looked like a plan to play by the offense, that the offense would shift back and hoping that the defense would react and come across. As soon as they enter the neutral zone, both the guard and the tackle reached out to touch them, causing them to false start. But if the defense is in the neutral zone, you put it on the defense. I would hope the officials would talk to the teams and say, listen, don't do that one again, because that sure looks suspect.
Matt, real quickly, is there a possibility that they just got the wrong player listed? Because number 5 wasn't even lined up on the line of scrimmage.
That's always possible. Sometimes the officials don't get the number right. This is their first game of the year, remember, so anything could happen.
Matt Austin, our rules expert, will be with us all night. Bowers finds Richie, and he's taken down at the 25-yard line. Corey Gross, the safety, on the stop. Picked up just enough for a first down to move the chain. So this is the type of drive Northern Illinois wants. They're going to take their time, chew up clock, and keep this Buffalo offense off the field.
Absolutely. They've got to do everything they can. Now, protect your youth on the defensive side. So far, the youth on the offensive side for Northern Illinois holding up, and holding up actually really well in the run game up front.
Out of a pistol look. Collins on the cutback and brought down by Thompson from the ankles. Tyree Thompson, grad transfer from UCLA. Opening night in the Mid-American Conference. And it's not just 1 or 2 MAC games tonight. Everybody in the league is playing tonight. Bowling Green and Toledo kick off on ESPNU at the top of the hour. And when they start, you'll have 6 MAC games going on at the same time, 5 on the ESPN networks. On 2nd and 9, Bowers floats one, nearly intercepted by Gross. He wanted Crawford, and Ross Bowers got away with one.
Yeah, very fortunate there. Ross Bowers doesn't key to safety in the middle of the field. I love the design of the play. They had good backfield action. If he throws this just slightly over the top, he's got himself a touchdown to Crawford. Instead, he tried to fit it into the hole there, and that's just too crowded. You see 4 jerseys around 1 NIU Husky.
It went literally through the arms of Gross, and Crawford still almost caught it. So now a 3rd and 9 here in scoring territory. With the play clock winding down, here's the blitz. Bowers in trouble, can't get away, and down he goes at the 25. Kuntz and McGee converge on the sack.
Yeah, and they run a little bit of a game. They end up bringing 5, and the way they brought it, I think, created some confusion for Northern Illinois up front. And you're going to see that tonight with this young offensive line. It got to come away with points here, though, after a long, sustained drive.
43-yard attempt by John Richardson, and he nails it. A 14-play, 50-yard drive that chews up almost.
About Lance Leipold and anybody coaching at that level is you don't have bells and whistles. You don't even have scholarships. You are having to find kids that are wanting to play it because they truly love it, and you're asking so much of them without much in return, and he's able to get the most out of his kids. I think he's a rising star in this profession. I did tell him this. I said, you got to start finding jobs in better climates.
NIU trying an onside kick and nearly recovered it. Now Thomas Hammock with a little bit of a sneak attack after his team just put together an 8-minute drive.
Listen, I don't disagree with the call. I love the aggressiveness. Thomas Hammock told us he was going to play like this tonight, especially with a young team, and they almost pulled off. It was a wonderfully kicked ball as far as the location and where you wanted that thing to end up. And they drop it right in the hole right there, and he's just not able to secure it. That thing could have been about 2 more yards maybe from the sideline. Oh.
Now Rudolph right there had a beat on it. If he holds on, NIU could have had the ball. Instead, Buffalo will get it back. The Bulls' first drive, 3 plays, 55 yards, and a touchdown run by Jarrett Patterson.
Yeah, and it really looked effortless the first time around.
Now the flag is down because the kick went out of bounds. Let's bring Matt Austin back in. Matt, what is this conference about?
Well, they might be talking about a couple different things. Anytime the kicking team kicks the ball into the air, the receiving team has to have an unobstructed opportunity to catch the kick. So they could be trying to decide whether they have kick-catching interference if anybody did get in the way of the receiving team.
The
and then,
on
as
the
you mentioned,
field
it could be a kick out of
bounds
bounds.
By the kicking team will enforce 5 yards from the out-of-bounds spot. First down, Buffalo.
And that's the best option for the receiving team if there's no kick-catch interference.
Thank you, Matt. So Buffalo will start just inside its own 40. Pretty good starting field position now on back-to-back drives.
Yeah, it certainly is. And this isn't, you're not putting your defense in great field position here, especially with the youth. Let's see if they can be a little bit more stingy with their front against this powerful Buffalo run offense.
And another stoppage.
Folks, we'd tell you what they were talking about if we actually knew. Not sure what this stoppage is. There wasn't a flag on the field, Anish.
First game of the season. They haven't worked together for a bit. Post-game dinner plans, perhaps. First and 10. Handoff is to Jaret Patterson. Lugs, these numbers don't sound real. The last 2 games against MAC competition, Patterson ran for almost 500 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, and the thing is, at that time in the season, everybody in the stadium knew what was coming. They had already gotten hot. Again, they had lost since they won every single game, and we're not talking close. We're talking about 38-16 on average point differential in every win. So people know what's coming, and they still can't stop it.
Buffalo 6-1 down the stretch last year, and it was a heavy dose of 26. Patterson picking up a first down there. You look at his numbers over the last 6 games of 2019. 186 yards a game, and he was getting it about 30 times per game.
As I said in our open, he's a workhorse. He is capable of carrying the load. He doesn't have to. We haven't seen Kevin Marks yet, but we will. And on that play right there where you saw him hit the cutback and get downhill, that's where you get worried if you're Northern Illinois on defense. Getting out of your gap with your youth and that inexperience can cost you in the run game.
4 true freshman starters for the Huskies. Vantrease to the sideline, and that's his best receiver, Antonio Nunn. Great catch radius, terrific on 50-50 balls, and all-conference selection last year.
You know, if you notice, one of the reasons, too, why this run game has been so effective is they are very multiple in how they get to it. Not necessarily a bunch of plays, but a lot of window dressing in terms of formations, personnel groupings, shifts, motions. There's a lot of eye candy back there. And then you're physical up front. Next thing you know, this guy is hitting the line of scrimmage quickly.
2 tight end set. Patterson on the cutback. See the shake and the wiggle, and there is a flag down. Looks like he'll have enough if the play stands.
There's a flag on the field.
Personal foul, face mask, number 5, defense. 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic first down.
See number 5, Kennedy there come in. And again, goes high and reaches for the, really just reaches for the head or neck area, ends up grabbing the face mask and adding another 15.
The challenge for Northern Illinois will be holding up against the Buffalo offensive line. Yes, Buffalo lost a few starters, but they still have experience at 4 of the 5 positions. And last year, the Buffalo offensive line, arguably the best position unit in the entire conference, as Patterson picks up a couple. Right guard Jack Klenk. That might be the biggest question on the offensive line. Awashika moving over from the right side to the left side. Gall and Fuzak both have starting experience, even though they weren't regular starters last year.
I think that's the point to be made here. This was a group of offensive linemen from last year's squad that played a bunch of guys, rotated 6-7 guys in. So even though they weren't listed as starters, they've played a lot of football.
And that time, Patterson taken down in the backfield. Lance DeVoe, 5th-year senior linebacker. He and Kyle Pugh give this defense experience at the linebacking position. That's the strength of the Husky D. Big 3rd down.
They're the 2 grandpas. I mean, really, I mean, they are, it is their job to lead this young group of very talented and inexperienced players. So if there's a strength to this football team as a unit, it's clearly at the linebacking spot.
Buffalo last year, 45% on 3rd down. Northern Illinois had its struggles on 3rd downs defensively. Vantrease looking for 6. And he's got Antonio Nunn for a touchdown.
He's got the one-on-one opportunity. Go up with a 50-50 ball, and Thomas is not in bad position on what is really a difficult thing to defend on the back shoulder. Well-placed ball, very, very nice ball skills, and on the 50-50 catch there.
The danger right now for Northern Illinois, it looks too easy offensively for Buffalo.
Yeah, and the game's moving a little bit faster for Northern Illinois.
McNulty's kick is good. 2 possessions, 2 scoring drives for Buffalo, 2 touchdowns.
Good looking group. Nice throw. Got balance in the offense for Buffalo. Going to be exciting to see the Pac-12 kick off.
Stanford again with a terrific offensive line. Have some big opt-outs though. And NIU will bring it out to the 25. Let's go back to that last touchdown. Antonio Nunn, who's got a great catch radius and a knack for making these types of catches, brings this one in. Comes down hard on that elbow, and during the break we saw him trying to shake that elbow out on the sideline.
Yeah, you see the left elbow hit the ground first, and the weight of not only himself but the defender kind of piling on, and they're working on him a little bit there. The senior, and you mentioned the 50-50 ball. That's where he's really good, is when he's contested.
And there comes Collins, and you can see why NIU likes Collins as the feature back. He can finish his runs with some power. May not be the home run hitter, but he's going to get you the tough yards.
Yeah, Harrison Whaley's going to be their change of pace guy. He's their speedster, maybe the fastest player on this team, but at 6'2", 210, as we see the first quarter wind down here, Collins is the guy that is going to be the downhill battering ram, and I think Northern Illinois has to continue to run the ball between the tackles. They're not experienced enough in the offensive line to go laterally against this Buffalo front seven.
Maction is back. Mark Morrison, I'm sure somewhere, is loving all of this.
That's the end of the first quarter.
Buffalo came in with great expectations. No David Copperfield needed in that first quarter. Give it to Jared Patterson and let the defense do its work. The Bulls, the team to beat in the MAC this year, off to a great start. Denise Schroff, Tom Luganbill, Taylor McGregor down on the field. Maction is back with 6 games, and it appears Buffalo jumped off sides to begin quarter number 2.
Offside. Number 0, defense causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
College football players this year are allowed to wear number 0. And 6'4", 330-pound D-tackle Eddie Wilson donning that jersey for Buffalo. I know this for a fact. Mike Golick Jr. has Buffalo's game next week. And trading some texts with him during this past week, he is ready to make Eddie Wilson into a god next week. That play goes nowhere for Richie. Luckily for NIU, it wasn't a whole lot worse. Number 0 was made for big D tackles, wasn't it?
Of course it was, and probably offensive linemen as well if they were eligible to actually wear it. Now listen, we got third down right here, and on third down, Brian Borland, the defensive coordinator at Buffalo, depending on the down and distance, you got 3rd and 8+ here. He is going to unleash the ends. He essentially gives them a 2-way go. They're allowed to do whatever they need to do to get to the quarterback, while the 2 inside guys have got to play gap sound. So keep an eye on the 2 defensive ends and the edge rushers and what they're allowed to do. Especially
50 White, Malcolm Kuntz. Bowers got rid of it quickly, but the defense got there at the same time that Tucker did. Gaddafi Wright, the linebacker, in coverage, and NIU has to punt. If you go back to that 2nd and 7, that becomes such a big call because, you know, you throw it, they tried something, it didn't work, but you get into 3rd and longs against this defense, it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, they're going to come after you.
Ferentz gets it away. Cook retreating inside his own 25 and out of bounds near the 20.
Well,
The Bills are playing well. Tom Brady's out of the division. Van Treese to the sideline, too high for LeFave.
listen, I know Buffalo's trying to change it up a little bit. Probably wants to get their quarterback into a rhythm, but until Northern Illinois can prove that they can consistently stop this vaunted run game for Buffalo, I don't know if I would throw it unless we have to throw it.
Kevin Marks into the game. He was also a 1,000-yard rusher last year, and nothing changes offensively when Marks comes in for Patterson. First carry for Marks. His running style actually reminds a lot of Buffalo fans of James Starks.
Yeah, because he's kind of upright, okay, and he's got a little bit of wiggle and elusiveness where Jarrett Patterson's a little more low to the ground and more sudden.
Going quickly here on third down, and that is incomplete.
Really interesting, Anish. Now you're sitting there at 4th and 9. You're in control of the game. A very odd play selection there from Buffalo in terms of their choices.
And on to punt it away is Evan Finnegan. Good to see him back out on a football field. He suffered a gruesome leg fracture in the Penn State game last year. Actually forced Kyle Van Treese, the quarterback, into punting duties. He has made a full recovery. Not a good kick. Shank job. Out of bounds. And for NIU, this is an opening.
Tremendous opportunity here for field position. Finally, you get the field position in your advantage where it was Buffalo's for the entire first quarter. 14-3, Bulls.
Am I right? But listen, Central Michigan last year, Jim McElwain, the old Florida head coach, formerly at Colorado State, from 1 win to 8 wins, played in the MAC championship last year. What a turnaround. On 1st and 10 with the short field, it's Aaron Collins. Five MAC games on the ESPN networks. Got Eastern Michigan, Kent State, Western Michigan, Akron, Bowling Green, Toledo about to start on ESPNU in a few minutes, and might have some movement up front now for Northern Illinois. A lot of finger pointing on both sides.
Dead ball. Ball start. Number 70. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Left tackle Marcus Cox.
That's a good call. It's probably the call they should have made the first time we had that in the first quarter. They called it on the defense at that moment.
Lugs, here we are again. 2nd and long. Obvious passing down. An offense not built for this.
No, it certainly isn't. Watch these guys come off the edge. So explosive in their pass rush.
Buffalo rushing 4. Bowers finds a seam over the middle. And it's the freshman Trayvon Rudolph, a preferred walk-on who was put on scholarship last month during camp. At the end of practice, got a ball, and there was an inscription on the ball that says, "You're on scholarship."
How awesome is that? Look at him catching the deep in route right here from the slot. Fearless over the middle. I mean, you think about the transition on this roster. Guys like Rudolph, we mentioned 62 freshmen, and you had no spring. You had no offseason. You didn't have a true training camp.
From inside the 15, Collins right up the belly, and he's to the 7. Thomas Hammock, the NIU head coach, telling us his team knew it's going to play cold weather games outdoors in November and December. So they practiced at 6 a.m. in the cold in DeKalb. Young team. He said they didn't know any better, but wanted this attitude and mindset of being physical, being tough, and forget the inexperienced narrative.
No question. And now you got this football team as a result of that in scoring position and running the football effectively.
Collins into the end zone. It started with a shanked punt by Buffalo. A short field, a big conversion on 2nd and long, and Aaron Collins finishes it.
Really well executed at the point of attack by Northern Illinois and this young offensive line. And I don't think Buffalo on the backside of that played that correctly. I think they had some gap issues. And the Huskies taking advantage in that run game.
Richardson's kick is good. Thomas Hammock did not want to hear about things like preaching patience and growing pains. He says, yeah, we've got a young team. So what? We think we can beat.
Joe Norvek, comes in, takes it over. Then next you know, it's Jerry Kill. And then you've got Dave Doran and Rod Karen. All these guys have kept this thing going.
Let's check in with Taylor McGregor.
Well, NIU's defense going back onto the field with some confidence. However, defensive line coach Jordan Geely saying he would like to see them get the defensive play call out faster on 3rd down. He feels like Buffalo is going with a little bit of tempo in that situation, and they haven't been prepared for it, guys.
Yeah, Taylor, a lot of that, again, you can attribute to some youth. You know, you got to understand the moment, the critical down. If it's looking to the sideline to get the call, you got to have all eyes to the sideline. Whatever it is, they got to get it short up, and you're only going to do that through play experience.
This is Kevin Marks with a nice run on 1st down, a pickup of 8.
There we go, Buffalo. This is get back to who you are. A little bit of tempo now.
And you got both 1,000-yard rushers flanking Van Treese in the backfield. We were told we'd see more of that. Marks changing direction.
And to Taylor's point, you saw right there a little bit of tempo, and you saw Northern Illinois just late, getting the line of scrimmage, getting set. But to your point about having Marks, having Patterson on the field at the same time, when you have those two backs and you decide to motion one out of the backfield pre-snap, there's some decisions that got to be made on defense. So you can create some real mismatches personnel-wise when your two best players are on the field at the same time, in the backfield at the same time.
Marks picked up a 1st down with a gain of 2. Little misdirection here. Trevor Wilson, the speedy redshirt freshman, out close to the 40. A gain of 4. He didn't play until the bowl game last year because of an academic issue, but they like that speed element, especially on those jet sweeps.
Yeah, and that time, you know, you had the little shuffle pass inside to him, but credit Northern Illinois. Jordan Hansen, number 7, a freshman safety, playing that thing inside out and chased it down. And your 2nd and 7. Northern Illinois is hanging in there, and they're not giving up explosives. That's a big part of this. Make Buffalo earn it.
Molnich motions, Van Treese to throw. On 2nd and 7, off the hands and nearly intercepted. Lefebvre could not hold on, and McGee almost had it. Miles McGee, another true freshman in that secondary.
Well, you got the throw in the window right where you want it, and you just got to come down with that football. That's unacceptable not to catch that ball. Right there, and again, now we're seeing Buffalo get maybe a little predictable on their 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7 game. It's been all pass all day.
And a big 3rd down now for this Northern Illinois defense if they get a stop. Can swing a little more momentum their way. Van Treese pumps, he's hit. Floats it downfield for none, and it's intercepted. One of the 2 true freshman starting safeties, Jordan Hansen, a high school quarterback and the quarterback of this defense as a true freshman.
Yeah, just a young guy, and what do they say? Pressure bursts the pipe, right? That time, Northern Illinois, those young guys, the defensive ends that Thomas Hammock, the head coach, raved about, Pierce Opong, Rasheed Thomas. They apply the pressure, balls in the air. You see Hansen go high point it. Now you could argue, hey, bat it down. Maybe you're going to have a punt situation here. Nick Ratton making the pressure at linebacker. Really good series. Now all of a sudden you got a little momentum, a little confidence defensively, and your offense is back on the field.
Sudden change. Do you take a shot?
You'd like to, but I don't know if they've got the weapons established yet to do that.
Instead, they'll give it to Aaron Collins, and running him up the middle has been their best play.
And I don't know why they would get away from it. If they're going to, and I say this about both teams' inside run game has been really strong. And until the other shows the ability to at least slow it down or create a tackle for loss, I'd keep going downhill on this Buffalo defense.
Collins to the sideline, trying to shake out that right arm after a gain of 5. Harrison Whaley, the true freshman, in at running back. He's got some speed and home run ability. Whaley with his first collegiate carry, and that is not a home run. Tackled, and it brings up 3rd down.
Penetration that time in the backfield from Buffalo. One of the few times we've actually seen that against the Husky run game. And again, 3rd and 5. The game plan for Buffalo, they love to unleash these guys. And listen, no assignment, no gap responsibility. If you're playing defensive end on a potential passing down, they're going to turn you loose with a two-way go off the edge. You see number 50 at the top of your screen there, the fierce pass rusher, Kuntz.
Rondarius Gregory in at running back. To the sideline, it's broken up, intended for Tucker. Marcus Fuqua, the redshirt freshman, got in there, and it's 4th and 5. And if you're NIU off the turnover, this is a missed opportunity.
It's a missed opportunity. You see the attempt at the one-handed snag there. It's a missed opportunity, and you see a little pressure in the face and hands to the face. I'm a little bit surprised that wasn't called on big number 92, Ronald McGee for Buffalo. And look at Ross Bowers rushing back on there. Let's see what they got. A little trickery here.
Could this be a ploy to get the defense off sides? And now we have flags.
Dead ball. Ball start. Number 88. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
All right. No more shenanigans from Northern Illinois offense. Now watch what he's doing right here. Essentially what he's doing is he's coming off to shift in motion in the formation, but while he's doing it with a real jerky movement, and then when he sees the defensive guy move, he points to him. And to Matt Austin, our rules, what you could say, guru, told us earlier, he said it looks like that's a little game Northern Illinois is trying to play, and it's worn out now.
Fair catch by Cook at the 21. That's where Buffalo takes over. No, to send the British packing.
You are digging deep, my friend.
Famously clipped afterwards, the play, sir, is over. Kevin Marks on 1st down for a gain of about 4. Let's check in with Kevin.
An Asian Miami of Ohio picked to win the MAC East by the coaches, but down to Ball State. They led the MAC in scoring a year ago. Drew Plitt, explosive play to Justin Hall, 66 yards. Right now, Ball State up 14-7. Back to Anish, Tom, and Taylor.
Ball State top heartbreakers last year. It was Jared Patterson who got the call on 1st down, gets it again on 2nd. And jitterbugs his way close to a 1st down. There is a flag down. The first 2 drives, Patterson had 7 carries, none on the last 2.
Holding. Number 79. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Clank, the right guard. Now the point I was going to make, first 2 drives, you saw a lot of Patterson, 2 touchdowns. No Patterson in terms of touches on the next 2 drives, punt, interception.
That's right. And this is a guy that is a 25 to 30 carry every game back. And, you know, those guys aren't growing on trees anymore. And especially when you consider his stature. So I think you got to let him get into the rhythm before you start putting marks in the game.
Van Trace on 2nd down to the sideline, and none brings it to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 10. And these are the type of downs where if you're Northern Illinois, you can live with this. Run likely off the table.
Yeah, you've got to be extremely pleased with how you've kept Buffalo behind the chains on the last 3 series.
With a defense that has 5 freshmen, 4 true freshmen in the starting lineup. And that is broken up. Miles McGee, the true freshman, has made a couple of plays on the ball, but we do have a flag.
Personal foul, shot block, number 26 and 62 offense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play, 4th down.
Yeah, they're going to get them an illegal chop. You're going to see right here, your offensive lineman's going to be engaged, and Patterson's going to come over, and he's going to go low on him, and that's going to bring the penalty right there. That's a dangerous play. It's a good call by the officials.
And this young Northern Illinois defense finding some confidence now. And remember, Finnegan's last punt only went 15 yards. NIU had 5 blocked kicks on special teams last year. This punt much better, but not that much better. Another
part of the National Football League even know who Rich Kotite is.
Richie Kotite was the head coach of the Jets for 2 seasons, I believe. 1-15 and 3-13. Kevin Nagandi in studio remembers Kotite, who was the Eagles head coach as well.
He certainly was.
Bowers, this is a wounded duck for Tucker, and it's incomplete. Off his hands.
That's one of the things I think this passing game is lacking a little bit. This is a ball that maybe if it was timed a little bit better by Tucker there, he could have elevated and gotten that throw. It's a one-on-one 50-50 ball. The back of the defender is turned to the quarterback. But outside of Trayvon Rudolph, who we saw catch that ball over the middle of the field, there's not a lot of established difference makers that can stretch the field for you, at least yet, for this offense.
And Buffalo is down its top 2 quarters tonight.
False start, number 58, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Braden Patton, the center.
Yeah, one of the few centers that is an actual senior, one of the few seniors on this offensive line. It's good that he is a center, so you can take some of that pre-snap stuff off of the quarterback's plate, and Ross Bowers can focus on some other things.
He had actually never started at center until the last few games of 2019, but has had an offseason to work at that position. There is Collins. They like him as a pass catcher too. He'll get some of it back, and now 3rd and long against this Buffalo defense, and you got to watch out for number 50, Malcolm Kuntz.
Yeah, they looked like they were, breathing down the neck of Ross Bowers. It was actually a really good play call that looked initially like it might go, and then the pursuit of Buffalo's defense, they've run really, really well. Really at all 3 levels of the defense, and that man right there, Kuntz, as you mentioned, number 50, missing his playmate, Taylor Riggins, who's usually lined up opposite of him tonight, not available, so a lot of the focus goes to number 50.
On the draw, and Collins erased right at midfield, 4th down. James Patterson, the twin brother of star running back Jarrett, with the tackle.
Yeah, both Patterson and number 30, Rich Miller, as well. Both of them sniffing it out. Miller playing off the block there. Number 30 does a really nice job on the assisted tackle. And, if you're Northern Illinois, you're not going to continue to get this type of field position. You've got to start taking advantage of these short fields on offense.
Cook to receive the Ferentz punt. And this takes an NIU bounce. It's down at the 5. The Huskies can do this. They can play a little field position. Special teams a strength. 95 yards to go for Buffalo.
conferences, other teams, and hear coaches talk post-game about the approach they took and either utilize it or stay away from it.
Ball is on the ground on first down. Patterson diving for it. So was Rayshawn Thomas, the true freshman end. And Buffalo able to recover. So disaster from the shadow of their own end zone.
Yeah, there's something off on the mesh point. It looked like Van Treese was going to actually pull it and throw it. Patterson was, yeah, that just got knocked. And that happens sometimes when you're in an RPO type of situation and you're either deciding to give or pull. You can have a mesh point every now and then get messed up.
2nd and 12 after a loss of 2. Buffalo stays with the 2 tight ends, Molinich and Lefebvre. Play clock down to 4. Against a 4-man rush, it's Nunn on the outside. Stiff arms past the defender and turbos for a first down.
Watch Nunn here. This is all yak. Yards after the catch, he makes the catch, and then he makes Gandy, number 14, miss. Really just shoves him off, little forearm shiver. But that's what makes coaching defensive football in today's game so difficult. You're trying to keep the ball in front of you, make them throw it underneath, but then you got to tackle in space against skill that is exceptional nationwide.
Patterson gobbled up shy of the 25. Only a gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
I'll tell you, and I know we're only in the second quarter, it's winding down, Anish, but you got to give a lot of credit to this Northern Illinois team, this roster, so much youth. Again, 62 freshmen on this roster, 22 of the 44 in the 2 deep are freshmen or redshirt freshmen. That front 4 you see right there, they're all true freshmen, and they're hanging with the best team in the MAC right now.
Yeah, they had 2 D linemen transfer out to Iowa. 3 freshmen against last year what was the best offensive line in the conference. And this was the best running back in the MAC last year, Patterson, but he's shy of the 30. And another 3rd down and another passing down for Buffalo.
Yeah, really nice job coming up in run support from Devin Lafayette, number 3. And then you see Pierce Opong, you see him and some of the numbers and where this team is with their youth. And Opong is going to be an exciting young defensive end in time to come.
Van Treese completes the Dominic Johnson, the senior out of Canada, and that'll move the chains, a gain of 7.
Critical 3rd down conversion there, and really, if not for anything else, just to get some confidence back. If you're Buffalo on offense, you've really stalled, and you've been able to crawl out of a hole here a little bit field position wise.
It looked real easy on the first 2 drives for Buffalo. Anything but since. NIU's defense growing up in real time. Again toward the sideline. Johnson again out of bounds. And a gain of 9, 2nd and 1. We have not seen many shots downfield. Do you take one here?
I think it's a great opportunity to take one here because you're so predicated upon being a run-first scheme that you feel confident on 3rd and 1 that you'd get it.
Buffalo has all 3 timeouts, and with 2.5 minutes to go in the half, they don't appear to be especially rushed. They'll run it. Patterson with a seam into the secondary and beyond. Still going, tiptoeing the sideline. Patterson makes a house call, and that's for the record. He now has the most rushing touchdowns in the history of Buffalo football.
This is wide open on the backside, and Buffalo, a great missed tackle and avoidance of a tackle there from Patterson. This is what this guy does. He gets stronger as the game goes on. He's one of those backs that's better in the 4th quarter than he is in the 1st quarter.
The PAT is good by McNulty. 2 touchdowns in the game by Patterson, already 100+ yards rushing just in this first half. And nobody in Bulls history with more career rushing touchdowns, one better than James Starks.
2nd and 1, give the football to your best player. And you're going to just see him. This is youth on the defensive front for Northern Illinois not being gap sound. You get caught out of your gap, and then you don't have anybody to replace behind you, either the linebacker, and that was a safety coming down that was in the hole by himself. He doesn't make the play. This is what happens.
That was the freshman Hansen who had an interception, but a welcome to college football moment. You feel like you're out on an island with the best player in the conference.
No question. There's no question. And you almost kind of got a sense that it was a matter of time. And again, we're winding down the 2nd quarter. There was going to be a big play come against this Northern Illinois defense. They're just too young for it not to have happened.
Buffalo receives the 3rd quarter kick, and you get the sense if Northern Illinois can get points in the final 2:14, it's going to have a big reverb in this game going forward. This is Rudolph. Run Rudolph all the way across the 40. And special teams coming through for NIU again.
Yes, absolutely. Creating field position, which they've owned in the 2nd quarter. 3 timeouts. You're going to have, again, a great opportunity to where the clock isn't as much of a detriment. And one of the things that I like about Rudolph is he hits it, man. There's no dancing. He finds the crease and he goes. Again, former walk-on, awarded a scholarship. Another one of those young guys that came in the offseason as they're continuing to massage and build this roster in DeKalb.
The Huskies have all 3 timeouts, 2:07 to go. Bowers, the 6th-year senior, gets rid of it quickly. Tucker to the sideline. And a nice pickup on 1st down. Gain of 5.
Like it. Get the ball to the outside. Get out of bounds. Don't burn a timeout. Very few seconds. Time went off the clock. You see Ross Bowers looking at the sideline. Now they got to go.
Wasting a lot of time here.
You don't have time for this.
Here's the pressure. Richie. Brought down by Roy Baker, the senior from Miami. It's a 1st down. That'll stop the clock until the ball is spotted. .90 seconds to go. NIU in Buffalo territory.
See, if you're not going to use a timeout out there, then you've got to snap the ball quicker. I like that you had a play. You're going to be aggressive, but snap the ball. You're burning time here.
And no urgency, and it might be the difference between 6 and 3. Downfield, incomplete in the direction of Rudolph.
Yeah, Anish, I have no problem with them deciding not to burn the timeout off of the catch where they converted. We got a flag down. And then getting up and being ready to run the play, but run the play.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 95, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Tyrese Woods, the sophomore out of Detroit. And that is a gift to NIU, just uncalled for, not necessary. And the Huskies now in field goal range as they'll move up to the 29.
What a huge mental error. You know, there's mental penalties and there's physical penalties. That's a mental penalty that just cost your football team because now you just bought Northern Illinois time and field position.
3 timeouts, 1:13 to go inside the 30. John Richardson, the kicker, has made 10 straight inside 44. Here's Gregory. Does not get very far. The only running back on the roster that had a carry coming into the season. Still no timeout.
That's fine, but you can't look back to the sideline here. You got to snap it and go.
Wasting a lot of time between plays. You're supposed to practice these moments, right? 2-minute drills?
Absolutely. And they do.
That is caught inside the 20. It's Ritchie. It'll momentarily stop the clock. It's a first down. The way they've been going, don't you use a timeout here?
Well, now you don't need to because you got a Buffalo player down that's going to stop the clck.
And that's
Timeout on the field
Kuntz.
for an injury to the defense.
First team all-conference D end who led the league in sacks.
This is big. This is a big blow, as we've talked about. Taylor Riggins, the end that plays on the opposite side, not available tonight. They were the two guys that were really the dominant force in the conference a year ago as far as tackles for loss, sacks, just being disruptive overall. This could be a huge blow depending on how this turns out for Buffalo on defense.
Kuntz and Riggins 1-2 in sacks. Riggins out to begin the game. Buffalo also without its two starting corners, Ali Abbas and Dupree Washington. Lance Leipold's defense last year, top 5 nationally against the run, only 94 yards a game. They've given up close to that. Oh, no, they haven't. They've only given up 40 on the ground so far in this first half. I was looking at the pass yards. But this is a crucial 40 seconds here for NIU. Now, field goal makes it a 3-point game. But, boy, it just feels like they've burned off 45 seconds at least just staring at the sideline, waiting for instruction in a crucial 2-minute drill.
So the drive started with 2 minutes and 7 seconds. You've got 3 timeouts early on in the drive. Really good execution, getting out of bounds, connecting on the first down, and then they run to the line of scrimmage instead of calling timeout. And I loved that. I felt like, okay, they're going to get into the red area. They're going to have all 3 left. But you can't choose to get in the perfect play at that moment and burn 5 to 7 seconds between snaps if you're not prepared to use a timeout.
Look at Kuntz there on the right side of your screen, just kind of crumples to the ground, and he's going to walk off.
Northern Illinois has chosen to start the clock on the snap. Clock will start on the snap.
7 tackles, 2 TFLs already in this first half for the all-conference D lineman. And he's going to go into the tent. That is not a good sign for Buffalo.
No. No, it is not. Let's see what Northern Illinois does here with the clock. Wouldn't be surprised if they take some opportunities to get in the end zone here.
Off play action.
There it is.
Over the middle. Touchdown NIU. It's Cole Tucker.
See the backfield action. Ross Bowers, very decisive. Cole Tucker coming underneath on the deep in route. You cleared out. They had that bunch formation. That can be difficult to defend. You start getting your wires crossed a little bit. Tucker, Mr. Reliable. I think Ross Bowers, you know, he's been very efficient. He's been under duress a little bit, but he's made the throws that have needed to be made. And the approach and how they manage the clock, the plays that have been made by Ross Bowers in this offense have been very, very strong.
Cole Tucker, a legacy player for Northern Illinois. His dad was an All-American DB for the Huskies. Brett played in the late 80s, was drafted by the Oilers. Mom in the school's Hall of program, NIU, and they choose to go for 2.
Well, let's see. Let's see what this turns into. Buffalo calls timeout.
Buffalo, first charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Eric Eidsness is the offensive coordinator for Northern Illinois, came over from South Dakota State. And he was telling us that analytics is a big part of the information they use when game planning and when play calling.
Oh, there's no question.
the Pac-12 season.
Depends on the quarterback position. Let's take a look here and see if Northern Illinois has got a plan and gets the look they want.
It's Crawford, and Buffalo sniffs it out. Do you agree with that this early in the game?
No, if the card's telling you to do it and the percentages and the analytics favor it, I can see why you'd be tempted, but the only thing that I would say against that is you're playing good football. You're in this game. You've managed the game. You've played field position. You've made the necessary plays. If you just kick it, now you know you're 21-17. But I think that might have had something to do with the fact that Buffalo's getting the ball coming out.
Either way, that's a big scoring drive for Northern Illinois, and I think you've got to give Thomas Hammock and his staff a lot of credit in getting this young team ready. We were surprised after talking to him yesterday where there weren't a lot of excuses. And when teams are often this young, you hear coaches say, well, there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be baptism by fire. And all the cliches, we have to be patient. We'll be different 3 or 4 weeks from now than we are now. He wasn't playing that game at all.
No, didn't say any of that. In fact, he said he likes this team better than the previous teams he's coached. And on top of it, when they had the attrition and all of the departures, he didn't beg anybody to stay. So that tells you what he's trying to build here and that something needed to change.
He likes the young talent, and he told us, I'm less stressed going into this year than I was last year. Down to Taylor.
Buffalo will take over first and 10 from their own 25.
Just a quick update on Malcolm Koonce. It was a finger injury. They taped it up. He's good to go back in, guys.
And that's a good sign for Buffalo. Koonce, as we mentioned, led the MAC in sacks last year. A half sack better than teammate Taylor Riggins, who's out tonight.
No, we keep talking about this young Northern Illinois team. All right, no turnovers, no drops. Only one penalty tonight's been committed by a turnover. It's been a clean game for a youthful, inexperienced group.
Handoff is to Patterson. And he steps out of bounds with 28 seconds to go to stop the clock. Buffalo with 2 timeouts. And if you are Lance Leipold, how do you approach these final 27 seconds?
I think you go full steam ahead. You're on the road. Run your offense. Run your 2-minute drill. Get yourself in position to potentially get some points on the board. You've got plenty of time. You've got 2 timeouts. And it's going to be also a reflection of how far they've come in the passing game. This has been such a run-heavy scheme that now all of a sudden to move the football and get the scoring position, they're going to have to throw it.
Antonio Nunn is the guy in the passing game lined up at the bottom of your screen. Instead, it's Patterson. And he picks up a first down that'll momentarily stop the clock. Buffalo does not appear to be calling a timeout, and it seems they'll be content.
Well, they know they're getting the ball, and they're going to go in.
A stronger leg than Alex McNulty, but there may not be enough time for that. From inside the 40, they keep it on the ground, and it's Patterson. And the final seconds of the first half will tick down.
That's the
and
end of the first
Buffalo
half.
will take a 5-point lead into halftime. Jaret Patterson, as advertised, 129 yards, 2 TDs in the first half. The preseason favorite of the MAC with a 5-point lead in DeKalb. And they're starting 4 true freshmen on defense. They've been able to hold up.
They have held up, and they've played really well. And they're in this football game, probably have a belief system they didn't have before.
Ron Cook from inside his own 5. Sheds 1 tackle. And taken down as we check in with Taylor.
Lance Leipold at half, and he's saying self-inflicted wounds. Those were the issues. He pointed in specifically to Evan Finnegan. He said, unfortunately, he's coming back after a season-ending injury a year ago and was just super jittery, so they have to clean up some of those mistakes. He now also said when it comes to the offense, would like to see a more balanced approach running the football, and comes to the offense, would like to see a more balanced approach running the football and getting into the play action, guys.
The balance. That is something that was missing. Yeah, they passed it here and there some, but predictable at times offensively.
Yeah, especially on second down in the first half, no doubt.
First play of the second half, it goes to Patterson, and he is taken down for a loss by DeVoe, the fifth-year senior, back after missing most of last year with an injury.
This is a really nice play as you see DeVoe here just shoot the gap. And I was just talking about how good Jarrett Patterson is at breaking ankle tackles. Not that time, a big tackle for loss on first down. And again, 2nd and 13, what had happened in the first half. This became an obvious passing down for Buffalo, and they didn't have a lot of success in the passing game on second down.
Kyle Van Treese on the slant to Antonio Nunn. It brings up third down. One of the big mysteries this week was who would start at quarterback for Buffalo. Would it be Van Treese or Matt Myers? Lance Leipold told us on a call yesterday it would be Van Treese. On 3rd and 4, pressure coming. Van Treese hit over the middle. He completes. It's Giovanni Ruiz, his first career reception. A walk-on senior who went viral in the offseason for completing the hamstring challenge.
Van Treese is going to have pressure right in his kitchen. He hangs in there, keeps his eyes downfield, doesn't allow the rush to affect his vision of the field. Takes a shot from Kyle Pugh just as he gets rid of the ball. I've been impressed with Van Treese. I think he's played within himself. He's been accurate. He's made the throws that were presented to him. They just got to get back to running the football effectively on early downs. That's who they are as an offense.
LaFave, the tight end, in motion. Patterson got a block from Marks and a nice pickup. I mentioned earlier the hamstring challenge completed by Ruiz. If you're wondering what that is, try this at home. I dare you. Can't use your hands stay to your side. I gave it a go a couple of nights ago. Darn near died. No thank you.
I can't wait to see Taylor do it.
Well, the challenge has now been put forth. And Patterson stopped in his tracks, 3rd down. Starting to see this young Husky defense gain confidence. Buffalo had a couple of touchdowns on its first 2 drives. NIU much better since then.
Right, there's no question. What they've now got to do is get off the field on 3rd down. That's going to be the key here in the 3rd quarter. Get some stops, get the ball back, and hopefully regain some of that field position you had in the first half.
Molinich motions, 3rd down and 6. They keep it on the ground and nowhere to go for Patterson. Fought forward for a couple at the end. Nick Ratine, 38 in red, who was pressed into duty last year with all the injuries at linebacker, a walk-on, making the stop, and Buffalo will have to punt.
Pretty salty group. Ratine there, 38. This young front we've talked about, they're holding their own at the point of attack. They've allowed one explosive play the entire game, and it hasn't come through the air. It was the Jarrett Patterson touchdown. Aside from that, they've been sound.
Evan Finnegan, his first punt was a shank job at just 15 yards. As Taylor told you, a gruesome leg injury against Penn State last year that cut his season short. Tucker makes the fair catch. Northern Illinois was picked to finish last in the West Division. The West is considered wide open, and Thomas Hammock thinks his team's got a chance. Buffalo picked to win the East. They are seen as the favorite in the conference. Miami, the defending league champions, they beat Central Michigan in the conference championship last year.
Yeah, we're going to have an opportunity to see Toledo, Western Michigan next week. See what Jason Candle and his bunch looks like.
Aaron Collins ran into a roadblock, a 330-pound sized roadblock named Eddie Wilson, who wears bib number 0.
Yeah, and he's lost close to 30 pounds.
He has.
I mean, He's gained some first step quickness back. He's a little bit more disruptive than what you might think by looking at him. He looks like a two-gap guy that's just going to, you know, occupy blockers, and he does that. Don't get me wrong. But he's a little more disruptive than you might think.
The coaches heaped a lot of praise on the D tackles, eating up space, spying to allow the defensive ends to roam free. On 2nd and 9, Ross Bowers completes to Ritchie. He's to the 30. A gain of 16 yards and a first down. It's been an efficient night for Bowers. 11 out of 16, 120 yards, no turnovers.
Very accurate with the football and on time. That play doesn't happen if he doesn't anticipate the throw and get the ball out of his hand.
Collins slowed up and finished off by Terry.
See, on this previous play, you're going to see Ritchie. Just a nice throw, comes back to the football, but the ball's on time. It's one of the ways you can beat tight coverage. It's one of the ways that you can beat the rush. Is if your quarterback knows what he's doing, where to go, and gets the ball out. This chess match that we keep seeing with Northern Illinois, and you know, trying to get the perfect play, taking their time. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
A four-man rush. Bowers takes a shot downfield, and it's the freshman Trayvon Rudolph. It looks like they may have found something in 85, who came to NIU as a preferred walk-on and only earned a scholarship last month.
Yeah, he's been really impressive. He's been kind of their space player. He's caught everything thrown to him tonight.
2 catches, 56 yards. Also had a nice kick return in this game. Off play action, Bowers pumps. Lost the football, it's picked up by Buffalo. Terry looking for the scoop and score, and he's got it for the Bulls. Eric Black.
Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense for a touchdown.
Eric Black with the sack and the strip. And Tim Terry cleans up.
This is just an exceptional play, number one, to strip the football. And then when you play good defense, guess what? You're going to have other white jerseys around the ball. Terry, Johnny on the spot right there. And that's just unfortunate for Ross Bowers, who'd been playing so good, particularly on this series.
Tim Terry, a junior from Pittsburgh Central Catholic High School, the famed alma mater of Dan Marino. And the PAT is good. So Buffalo's offense sputtered on its first drive, but the defense comes up big. Bowers puts it on the ground. Terry takes it to the house.
The play was over. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 57, Buffalo. 15-yard penalty. We will try. The previous play is under further review.
Checking Anish here to see if he might have stepped out of bounds on the scoop and score. We'll check it out. But yeah, 2 blunders are overshadowing what's otherwise been a pretty well-played game by Northern Illinois, and Buffalo now in control.
The story for Northern Illinois was all the youth, all these freshmen playing their first collegiate game. Let's see if King steps out. I think he might have.
It's tough to tell from that angle. We've got to have indisputable evidence.
Might have is not good enough. Remember,
that's right.
Call on the field was a touchdown right there. Tough to tell from that angle. That's not going to do it.
That's not going to do it.
But going into this game, you thought the mistakes would come from all these freshmen, right? Eyes as wide as the Sphinx. First college football game. Look who's made the mistakes. It was Aaron Collins, a junior college transfer who began at NC State. Yeah, tough to tell. And Ross Bowers, a 6th-year senior quarterback. those were your mistakes. That's where the game is turned.
Yeah, and on back-to-back series. See our head referee here tonight, Ron Hudson, taking a look. Looks like he's ready to give us the call. I didn't see anything definitive there that could overturn
I'm
that.
with you. I thought maybe he stepped out of bounds, but definitively can't say.
After further review, the ruling on the field of a touchdown stands. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 57, Buffalo. That's his first unsportsmanlike of the game. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 55, Northern Illinois, also his first unsportsmanlike of the game. Those penalties will offset. We will try the down.
So the two penalties on Jeremiah Reardon and Weston Kramer. Isaiah King with a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and just like that, this one starting to get away from Northern Illinois.
It's just crazy how this thing can swing on you so fast in the blink of an eye. What was otherwise a really competitive game with a young, inexperienced Northern Illinois squad against what many people believe to be the best team overall in the Mid-American Conference. All of a sudden takes a complete and utter shift. And again, 2 plays.
And think about what NIU did. They came out of halftime. Their defense got to stop. They had the ball with a chance to take the lead and turn it over. It leads to a touchdown. Get it back, turn it over, leading to another touchdown. And now Buffalo with a 3.
Come from, and again, Northern Illinois is playing good football. So get back to doing what you're doing. Just hold on to the football.
McNulty sends it away. And Rudolph stays put. We check in with Taylor.
If there's any positive news for Northern Illinois, it's that despite those 2 turnovers, I was over there on the sideline, and the messages remain positive. Ross Bowers went around high-fiving guys and said, it's all right, we're about to get good field position, and we can score 3 touchdowns. It's what you want to hear from your quarterback, guys.
He's not wrong, Taylor. I mean, he's played really, really well outside of the fumble. He's made all the throws. He's made the right run game checks. They've been able to effectively run the football. So I agree with their assessment of where they are from an execution standpoint. You just got to protect the ball.
On the ground, and this is Gregory. Broke the initial tackle from McGee and surges forward to about the 28. Second down and 7. Man
Come out
down
on the
for
field for
Buffalo.
an injury to the defense.
That's Ronald McGee.
Yeah.
Number 92.
Buffalo getting a little thin on that defensive line. Taylor Riggins out. Malcolm Kuntz went into the tent earlier, did return, and now McGee down. Field now down 2 starters on that defensive line. Taylor Riggins out tonight. Ronald McGee just left the game, and Tyrese Woods will take his place.
Yeah, and it's kind of tough to see what happens to McGee. You see him there getting twisted and going down, making the tackle on the ball carrier. Like his left ankle might have got tweaked a little bit.
It'll be 2nd and 7. NIU from inside its own 30. Pressure coming. Bowers steps up. Gets away from Patterson downfield, and that's going to be a flag. How is that not a penalty on Tyrone Hill?
I have no idea.
He was not looking back at the ball, went right into Cole Tucker, and somehow that is not pass interference.
See the end of this versus Cole Tucker. Not only that, he's arm barring him, holding his left arm. Wow.
Now that's a terrible non-call. So instead of a first down and 15 yards for NIU, it's 3rd and 7.
Again, watch these defensive ends, these edge guys for Buffalo on the top and bottom. Have a 2-way go in their pass rush.
3-man pressure. Incomplete. Coverage that time by Logic Hudgens. Seeing some time today with 2 starting corners out. 4th down.
You feel like the previous two series have taken away a little bit of Northern Illinois' mojo. They're disjointed, and then you don't get the call on the pass interference. God, they got to get back in sync somehow.
Yeah, it starts to feel like an avalanche now.
Yep.
Fair catch called for and made by Cook at the 33.
Opt-outs, you know, and when you're a team like Stanford, that challenges your depth.
Oregon, the preseason favorite in the Pac-12. Vantrease, little play action. And there is Lefebvre in the flat where they love to use him.
Yeah, I love the naked bootleg action out for this offense. And it's so strong when you're an effective run team because everybody's going with Jarrett Patterson. And then you come out and you can do some of your perimeter pass game with Vantrease.
Patterson, the leading rusher in the MAC last year, a yard shy of 1,800. 1,100 plus came in just the last 6 games when they gave him a heavy workload. Throwing again. They'll take a shot. Wanting Nunn, he makes the catch. And Antonio Nunn comes through with another tough catch. He's over 100 yards receiving. It's 1st and goal.
Now I want you to watch Nunn's hands. He's working, and then quickly, both of his hands come away from the defender. You know, you hear about receivers and they're running with their hands everywhere. He does a nice job with the subtle push off with his left hand and then quickly plucks down the sideline. Well thrown ball from Vantrease. Yeah, I'm telling you, he's been understated. He's played really, really good football tonight.
Patterson takes it to the 4, 2nd and goal.
Well, it's just like the air just got taken out of the stadium. Not only has it affected the offense like we saw on the last series for Northern Illinois, but this defense right now is getting gassed. There's no enthusiasm.
Vantrease keeps it and takes it in for 6, and the cascade continues from Buffalo.
It's a good pull by Vantrease.
It looks like they both wanted it. It looks like Patterson wanted that 3rd touchdown.
Yeah, no, there's no question, but also Vantrease sees that defender collapsing down with Patterson, and you're going to have to pull it, and now all of a sudden you've got an advantage. It's a good call and it's a good read.
Kyle Vantrease, who last year was serving as the team's punter when Evan Finnegan went down, and then when starting quarterback Matt Myers suffered a season-ending neck injury, he moved from punter to QB1.
Hey, listen, the more you can do, the more valuable you are. You change field position at one position, you change field position at the other. It's a good call by Vantrease again, making the right read. And you know, that's the value. You don't have to be a dynamic runner. You need to be a good athlete, I think, in today's game at quarterback. But when your run game is so strong, I talked about the naked and the bootleg and some of the perimeter pass game stuff, but all you got to do a couple of times is pull that ball, and they're going to have to respect it.
This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate. Yeah, Vantrease is not a burner, but as you mentioned earlier in the drive, that naked bootleg is a big part of what Buffalo does offensively, and he did rush for 6 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, I think he's capable of just providing that element to the offense that keeps people honest.
Line drive kick. Rudolph from the 2. Has the 20. Accelerates across the 30. Still going. And shoved out of bounds after another nice return. Trayvon Rudolph has been a spark plug. Buffalo, meanwhile, getting thin on defense, Taylor.
Yeah, Ronald McGee not coming back onto the field. He has been ruled out of tonight's game with a left shoulder sprain. Went into the tent. They did some tests on him and decided he is a no-go for the rest of this game.
So McGee out, starting defensive end. Taylor Riggins, a pre-Washington, one of the starting corners, and Ali Abbas, the other starting corner, out to start the game. So you're down now 4 starters on defense.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that's why those turnovers come in handy.
This was a 5-point game to begin the third quarter. Rondarius Gregory, the redshirt freshman from Nashville, had 9 carries for 43 yards last year. The reason I bring up 9 for 43, which is like a 40-degree day, doesn't mean a whole lot. Those are the only rushing yards NIU has on its roster from any running back.
It's amazing,
into the
isn't
season.
it? It's amazing what they've had to cipher through and figure out, all right, who's the right fit here, the right guy there. No spring, no off season. You just show up in camp, don't think you're going to play, and next thing you know, you're playing.
Transfers, opt-outs, graduation left the running back stable thin. Gregory steps out of bounds, but after he picks up a first down, and then a little Ollie Liston stare-off with Gross at the very end.
A little gentleman's agreement. All right, you got me. All right, nice hit.
Dangerous throw, and Richie able to bring it in. They're not giving up.
It's like they both caught the football here. Look at them. They're sharing it. Ty goes to the receiver.
It does.
And that's been Richie's go-to route. He's been the curl guy. He's been the deep end guy. Generally to the boundary, which is the top of the field. He's been very productive in the pass game.
6 catches today. Gregory searching for running room, none there. Ball comes out, and that is the 3rd lost fumble of this quarter for Northern Illinois.
So you pull Aaron Collins off the field because he's careless with the football.
Recovered by the defense. First down, Buffalo.
We've seen very little of Harrison Whaley, and then Rondarius Gregory gets his opportunity, puts it on the carpet. That's 10 possessions now, 5 3-and-outs, and add a 3rd turnover to Northern Illinois on offense. And by the way, all 3 of those turnovers are in the last, 10 minutes?
Yeah, all in this quarter. And this was a 21-16 game. Entering the 3rd quarter, a couple of defensive scores by Buffalo, a touchdown run by Van Treese, and now Buffalo has it back. And that was a promising drive for NIU.
It was. It was, very much so.
Last time off, change of possession. Buffalo decided to take a shot. Instead, it's Kevin Marks. This is the other problem for defenses in the MAC. Jarrett Patterson is on the sideline getting a breather. As a defense, you cannot let down your guard when Kevin Marks comes into the game.
Absolutely not. A 1,000-yard rusher in his own right a year ago. A little bit of a different style back, but you're still going to get a ton of production. And as we saw in the first half, I'd like to see more of both of those guys on the field at the same time. I think there's a lot of fun chess matches that can be played with that as the season progresses.
2nd and 5. Van Treese wants none. A lot of contact with Gandy, and here comes the flag. The families that are in attendance won't like this, given the non-call earlier.
Number 14, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, he's got his hands all around him and wrapped around Nunn's waist. I mean, I get that. But that non-call happened on that same sideline. And you're right, not many in attendance, but friends and family are.
Jordan Gandy, a transfer from South Dakota State. the Jackrabbits of Brookings, South Dakota. He is a DeKalb native, so coming home from midfield now, and there's the two-back look.
There it is.
Safety blitz. Marks. Now that's one of those, if he gets one level beyond, he could go.
And watch, Jared Patterson is the lead blocker on that play. And that's what you love, the unselfish nature of both of these guys. It doesn't matter if I get the carry here or I got a block for my teammate here. This is a true team effort on offense. Watch 26 right there on the right of your screen. Look at him. Gotta love that. I loved seeing both of these guys on the field at the same time.
Buffalo stays with it. Marks again. And cuts another jagged path for a first down.
They really ran the same play, and he's just to the left side. They're running this to the field. They like something they're seeing from the front of Northern Illinois.
Is down.
Holding. Number 79. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Jack Clank, the right guard. Yeah, this offensive line last year for Buffalo was sensational. They only gave up 1 sack in the last 8 games. Paved the way, as we said, for 2,000-yard rushers. And talking to MAC coaches throughout last season, they believed that unit was the best position unit, period, in the entire conference.
Yeah, no question. And even though they've lost 3 starters off of that unit, as we outlined earlier, a lot of these guys filling in now have played a lot of football.
Yeah, they only feel they've lost 1 starter, and that's at right guard, where Jack Clank is the inexperienced one. He's been flagged a couple of times today. But Nowitzki comes back. Awashika moves from right tackle to left tackle. He's all conference. And then you got 2 running backs that can also BYOB, be your own blocker. 3rd and 5 in the final 2 minutes of this third quarter, where Buffalo has opened it up. Now from the 45, you may even call 2 run plays from here.
Sure. In total control of the game. One thing they are doing is taking their time.
Van Trace off play action, and it's dropped by Johnson, 4th and 5.
And it's Buffalo getting a little cute on offense. Line up, run it, get yourself 2 or 3, maybe even get the first down. If you don't, you're in control of the game, run it again, convert. Now you're going to find yourself punting on 4th and 5.
Finnegan's punt will die inside the 10. Well, the second half for Northern Illinois has been one giant dumpster fire. Fumble, fumble, punt, fumble.
And to add insult to injury, poor field position.
Yeah.
And you're crawling out of a hole now. You're backed up. What you don't want to do here is press and get greedy if you're Ross Bowers. Play within your offense, move the football. Your scheme has been sound tonight.
It's over, it's over, it's over.
It's Gregory, a little breathing room. We have not seen Aaron Collins in a little bit, which makes you wonder if he's okay for NIU.
Yeah, you know, and I mentioned earlier, one of the reasons why we probably hadn't seen him is he put the ball on the ground, and that's not going to be acceptable. So they're giving some other guys a try, and then find Rondarius Gregory doing it on the last series.
Bowers finds Ritchie, tackled immediately. Nice stop in space. And third down coming up. That's Logic Hudgens again. 7 catches now for Tyrese Ritchie. Originally signed with NIU out of high school, then went to junior college and came back to DeKalb. In Mid-American Conference play, Buffalo has never beaten Northern Illinois. 0-11 all-time in MAC play against the Huskies. It looks like that may change tonight. Buffalo's only beaten NIU once, back in 1968. But the Bulls, thanks to 2 defensive scores and a Kyle Van Treese touchdown run, outscoring Northern Illinois 21-0 in that third quarter. They've opened this one up, a preseason favorite in the MAC, with a commanding 42-16 lead after 3. Begin the fourth quarter. Opening night in the Mid-American Conference. MACtion is back. The MAC is back. 6 games tonight, and there is Tyrese Ritchie with his 8th catch and a first down for NIU.
Really good throw once again from Ross Bowers. He's done a nice job dealing with the pass rush by not holding on to the football. I mean, it's as simple as that. He gets back, gets set, works through, and gets the ball out.
This has been a challenge, though. You see, even teams that don't run tempo, after first down, sometimes you get a big play, step on the gas.
Yeah, or just line up and run something.
They've been unable to do that all night. There is Ritchie on the slant, changing directions in plus territory, felled by Baker at the 45.
Ross Bowers just seems so comfortable in this offense, and it's a shame because you've watched this offense move the ball fairly well throughout the entire contest outside of the turnovers, and so it's not as if they've been inept and haven't executed.
3 turnovers in that third quarter. 2 went for defensive touchdowns. Gregory getting the bulk of the carries here for this third quarter and beyond. Picks up 7, 2nd and 3.
It makes you wonder if this thin defense for Buffalo right now is starting to get a little gas, a little winded. You don't have your rotational depth that you've normally had due to some injuries coming into the game and during the course of the game.
And that's something to watch here, because Lance Leipold says, yes, he feels like he's got a good team. They've embraced expectations. Building depth is going to be key, especially in the age of contact tracing and COVID. Gregory out of the backfield, taken down, and it's third down. Tyree Thompson on the stop. How many times have we seen this season teams having to resort to second, third, even fourth stringers at times because of contact tracing?
And sometimes they know it going in. Sometimes they don't find out about it till the day of the game.
On 3rd and 2, Gregory. Torpedoes ahead for a first down.
Yeah, that was going to be 4-down territory anyway for Northern Illinois, and I'm glad they ran it there. They've run the football effectively well. The one thing that they haven't had offensively that Buffalo has is they haven't had any explosives. Haven't had those 20-plus, 25-plus gains, whether it's the passing game or the run game.
Bowers downfield off the hands of Rudolph, and that's one of the first mistakes tonight by the freshman. 4th down.
And that would have been
second down.
Yeah, second down. That would have been your explosive, your first explosive of the night, and really your first shot too of the night. And boy, this is a really well thrown football. Again, when things aren't going your way and you've lost that momentum, you've lost that energy, it just starts to snowball on you downhill.
During a practice last month, the coaches told Rudolph he had to catch a ball to get the team out of running. He caught it and then came back to hand the ball to the coaches, and they handed him a ball which said, "You're on scholarship. Preferred walk-on." He's played well tonight. That was a freshman mistake. And that is incomplete. Intended for Dennis Robinson, so taking some shots, and those were two. You put your hands on your head, and they missed two.
Yeah, they missed two. That one, he just missed an open receiver, and the previous one, obviously, the drop. Could just come away with some points here to gain some type of momentum back to your sideline, some type of positive energy, because you've had nothing positive happen to you for over a quarter now.
Harrison Whaley into the game at running back, the true freshman who has been skyrocketing up the depth chart. And good coverage that time by Logic Hudgens. Intended for Robinson, 4th and 10. And the offense will stay out on the field, it appears.
Get good timing on the throw, throws it to the outside, and another
got to
drop.
be caught. I thought that was Hudgens.
That's two drops out of the last 3 throws.
Now this is not on Ross Bowers.
No.
Buffalo only rushes 2, and this is intercepted. Gaddafi right, and Buffalo has its 3rd defensive touchdown of the night.
Well, we spoke too soon. Previous 2 throws were not on Ross Bowers. This one definitely is. And listen, credit Buffalo. They sniff out the screen. And Gaddafi Wright, who the coaches love, they raved about him this week, his leadership, his production. He just steps in front of it and makes a play.
4 turnovers, all in this second half. 3 have led to defensive touchdowns by Buffalo, and that's why this is a blowout. Now there's going to be some teaching moments for Thomas Hammock. Picked last to finish in the West in the MAC. NIU will sneak up on some people to play football at NIU while pursuing a master's degree in sports psychology. Rudolph out to the 35. DeLuca was a 2-sport star.
You know what I love is, do you think there's anybody that dares complain about a hard practice in front of him?
Whaley taken down. NIU has been practicing out in the cold at 6 a.m. in DeKalb leading up to this season opener. You think that bothers him one bit?
Absolutely not. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I can't stand hearing when people say, we're going to war, this is going to be a battle. No, you're not. He did.
He did.
But that's not what the game of football is.
New quarterback is in for NIU. It's Andrew Hayden. Transfer from Houston Baptist. Here is the freshman Harrison Whaley. You can see the speed, and it looks like he's got enough for a first down as we check in with Taylor.
Imagine having a friend who's a Navy SEAL, let alone a teammate. His teammates love to just pick his brain and ask questions about what it was like to be a Navy SEAL. And I've been watching him down here on the sidelines, and he just has a presence. You can tell that when he goes by, says something to the guys, they perk up and listen. It's been really fun to see down here on the sideline.
I'd listen.
Whaley just a little short, so 3rd and 1. And he's got the first down, and he gives them some burst. You mentioned this team needs some playmakers, some guys who can stretch the field, hit big plays. Whaley looks the part. He can be that guy.
Yeah, he's got some juice. In fact, you know who he looks like? He looks like Jaret Patterson when he's running the football, kind of short and compact, but sudden and explosive. There's no question that Northern Illinois' roster has improved. It hasn't gotten old yet, but it is improved in terms of the caliber of player.
Whaley again. He can make people miss. Brought down by Fuqua. Second down after a gain of 7. They were telling us Harrison Whaley in high school ran track, 10.7 speed in the 100 meters. He's got wheels, and you know, they didn't really know how much he would factor into the offense, but every time they saw him in fall practice, get better and better and make more guys miss, and moved up the depth chart.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a different gear and a totally different style from Aaron Collins.
On 2nd and 3, right back to Whaley. No gain, 3rd down.
You know, it's interesting and just so reflective of how turnovers just kill you. Northern Illinois has run 64 plays tonight. Buffalo's had 45. They're very close in total yards. All right. They're really 3rd downs. Neither of them have been outstanding. But Buffalo's got 3 sacks. Buffalo's 3 for 3 in the red zone. And Northern Illinois has turned it over 4 times, resulting in 21 points. I mean, it's one statistical category that has hurt the Huskies tonight.
That was almost another turnover. Gaddafi Wright would have had another pick 6 if he catches that. And Lugs, are you saying turnovers are the key to every football game?
Well, our good friend Herm Edwards, now the head coach at Arizona State, used to always say, the most important thing in football is the ball. Do you have it or do we have it? And that's never going to change.
4 turnovers, all in this second half, and 3 resulted in defensive touchdowns by Buffalo. They'll go for it on 4th and 2. Hate it to the air, fires a strike, a 1st down catch by Messiah Travis, redshirt freshman from Chicago. Hate it, the backup quarterback, served as the backup to Bailey Zappi at Houston Baptist. And for those who are unfamiliar with Zappi, he's put up some monster numbers in his time there, and one of the better quarterbacks in the FCS.
Yeah, he's really good. In fact, with this extra year of eligibility, he might be one of those guys that's looking to move up his draft stock, find himself an FBS home next year.
He almost led Houston Baptist to an upset of Texas Tech earlier this season as Whaley takes it to the 25. So if you're wondering, hey, Hayden was a backup at Houston Baptist.
That's
well, he
why.
was backing up somebody who was really, really good at that level.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Pac-12 kicking off, Stanford, Oregon. How about that 9 a.m. kick with USC and Arizona State? I love it. Herm Edwards
is going to love it.
Well, he's going to love it because he practices first thing in the morning anyway. So instead of just going to the practice field, just get on the bus and go to the stadium.
When he was with us, there were so many times he'd be in the building in Bristol from 4 or 5 in the morning. He'd get a workout in. He'd do Mike and Mike. He'd do the morning shows. As Whaley turns the corner. And then you'd see him there 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night still doing shows. No drop off in energy. So if you want to tell that guy, hey, do you want to play early and coach early? He's going to volunteer. A lot of Pac-12 coaches want nothing to do with it. That's going to be an advantage for Herm Edwards in Arizona State.
There's no question. If you told them we're going to kick off at 9 a.m. every week, he'd be the first one raising his hand.
2 tight end set. And another drop by NIU. That time Mohamed Toure.
That's actually one of the few freshmen that has had a drop or missed an assignment or an execution issue. For all the talk about how young this team is, it's been the upperclassmen. You know, junior running back Aaron Collins, obviously Ross Bowers. They're the ones that have committed the fouls.
Timeout on the field. Okay.
We have a timeout on the field. We are not exactly sure why. All right, we're told there was an issue with the scoreboard, and now the scoreboard is back. Sorahan, the tight end, motion, 2nd and 10. And there is Whaley, who's been a little bit of a spark plug here in the run game. 3rd down. Not often you can find positives when you're down 49-16, but Thomas Hammock has a pretty good young roster.
He's got a really good young roster, and what he's got to make sure is these moments to teach off of. It doesn't matter if you're a senior or you're a freshman. It doesn't matter if you're playing Buffalo or you're playing Akron. If you give the ball to the other team, then we're going to struggle as a football team to be successful and to win games. But he can also show them that when you do the right things, you can compete with the best of the league. We're not that far away.
Now the West is wide open in the MAC this season as we get whistles.
Prior to the snap, timeout, Northern Illinois. First charge timeout of the half. This will be a full media timeout.
Will step aside as well. 3rd and 8 NIU, down 49-16. Good one going on over on ESPN between Ohio and Central Michigan. That Western Division is going to be wide open. Here's Whaley. Tornadoes down inside the 5-yard line to set up 1st and goal. I think you're going to see more and more of Harrison Whaley as this season goes on.
Yeah, he's moving in a different gear. He's got a spark.
Whaley gets the call and gets canceled back at the 4 by Gross, coming up from that safety position.
Gross just coming off the edge, unblocked. Almost dislodged the football from the mesh point here. He's in the backfield so quickly. Whaley fortunate to hold on to that football.
A loss of 3. It's 2nd and goal from the 4. Now this is who NIU is. If you're wondering, hey, you're down 49-16. Why are you taking your time? Why are you huddling? That's their pace. And as we saw late in the first half, they struggle when they've got to go fast. Gregory in a tailback. Play clock running down, and we get a timeout.
Timeout. Northern
We'll
Illinois.
step aside. 5:19 left in regulation. Has run well since coming into the game, but they've got Gregory in the backfield. Hayden pumps on the move. Back of the end zone, incomplete. Off the hands of Travis, 3rd and goal, and there's been too much of that. Turnovers in the second half, drop passes, guys not making plays.
Yeah, and they didn't have any of that in the first half.
Penalty marker down.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 5. Defense. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
It's on Tim Terry. I mean,
that's real nitpicky to me.
All right, 1st and goal from the 2.
Got to throw with people in your face.
Whaley lost the ball. Buffalo's got it. Gross is upended. 5 turnovers in the second half. They may look at this one to see if the ball crossed. Gross a little shaken up at the end of the play. Harrison Whaley was reaching for the end zone. There's a man down for NIU.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Buffalo. Timeout on the field for immediate timeout. In addition, the play is under.
Yeah, I think his knee was definitely down, knee and elbow, and it looked like when the knee and the elbow were down, the ball was probably 6 inches short at least. So I think it was a good overturn.
NIU punches it in here. The quarterback keeper, it's Hayden, and it makes it 49-22. Here is the run by Hayden. Just a straight quarterback keeper. Got a push from Sorahan and Whaley. And NIU will go for 2.
Jeez.
Timeout, Northern Illinois. This is their third and final charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
You could see the confusion start to brew with those young wide receivers.
Yeah, the young wide receivers, and Andrew Hayden himself has to be better aware of the clock, where they're at, where's the play clock at. It's a critical play. Understanding your surroundings in situational football, you're going to expect some of that with younger players. Coaches work that all the time. Now, you look at this here, and to be honest with you, when this ball bounces up, the tackle that comes after it, very fortunate for Messiah Travis to get up and walk away from this hit. It was a great tackle, but he was down for quite a bit there on the carpet.
And we have made the decision not to replay that. Whaley bumped out of bounds by Terry. The conversion fails. NIU 0 for 2 on 2-point tries. 49-22, 4:56 to go. And Ashraf, Tom Luganbill calling this one from our
Offside.
Charlotte studio.
Number 35, defense lined up in the neutral zone. Half the distance to the goal. Retry the down.
Well, another try coming up for NIU. They get a little closer. Logic Hudgens was offsides. Taylor McGregor is down on the field. Tom Luganbill has a challenge for her in the final 5 minutes of this game, which you want to stick around for. The game may be over, but there are things to see. Gregory. And NIU tacks on 2. So a second to chance after a penalty. 49.
Challenging.
The fact that you got to 45 degrees is impressive in its own right.
I was just about to say, far lower than either of us.
I did play soccer in my day, so maybe that's
there you
something
go.
to account in. I don't really know.
Meanwhile, did you see the shot of Ruiz? Look, he's just showing off right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Nunn covers it up for Buffalo. 4:55 left. Well, that video actually went viral, put out by the Buffalo Strength and Conditioning Twitter handle. I think yoga would help, but again, I'm speaking out of complete ignorance here.
Quite honestly, there's a 50-50 shot. I don't even have hamstrings. So I got to be honest with you. I might try that and not be able to do it, but it might not hurt.
I think in the Twitter description that was put out, they said, forget hamstrings, ham ropes.
No kidding, man. Holy smokes.
Matt Myers, the new quarterback for Buffalo, and he keeps this. He's more of a dual threat than Van Treese. Dropped at the 30-yard line by Dylan Thomas. Myers opened last year as the starter. It was a bit uneven. Then he got hurt, and that pressed Van Treese into action. It was an open competition coming into this year, and the coaches just felt that Van Treese gave this team a little bit more consistency at that position.
Yeah, I would agree. And listen, when Matt Myers was the quarterback last year, before he got hurt, was right around the time when they started discovering who they were as a running football team. He didn't have the luxury of that outlook when he was the quarterback that Van Treese had.
Ron Cook to the 35. That's what impresses you about this coaching staff as we get a flag.
Timeout on the field for an injury to the defense.
Injured defensive player for NIU. We'll finish that thought in a second.
A chance coming back, you know, whether it's Keaton Slovis, whether it's see a cheap shot penalty coming late from Buffalo there.
And that's a freshman mistake by Wilson. So 3rd and 17. And Cook is dropped.
Just to pay off the Pac-12 there, I think that there are some teams that have some advantages because they know who their quarterback is going in. Lance Leipold is not happy with his football team, coaching to the very end.
What's impressed me about how Lance Leipold has been able to transition this program the last few years. 2 seasons ago, Buffalo was a 10-win team, and they were throwing the football with Tyree Jackson and some really good wide receivers.
Yep.
You mentioned it when Matt Myers was the starting quarterback last year, figuring out their identity. The second half, it was a heavy dose of Jarrett Patterson and Kevin Marks. And a coaching staff willing to adapt to its personnel. It sounds so primitive, so simple. Hey, this is what we do well. Let's do more of this. But a lot of times, coaches, to their detriment, we've seen them lose their jobs over this, try to say, no, we do this, you adapt to us. And almost without fail, that strategy comes back to bite them.
Well, you get stubborn, ego gets involved, and it's the, well, that's my system. This is my system. And you know what your system is? What your players can do, right? And that's what good coaches do. They're going to identify, all right, what are the strengths and how do we accentuate them? Where are our weaknesses and how do we mask them?